This is a Singer Model 237. This one came from Vermont, and this is the earlier looking of the two machines I have. Now this machine is giving me a couple of little problems, and if anybody can help me with what might be wrong, I'd appreciate it. I don't have a service manual right now for either one of them, but I don't know that that would help anyway. Here's one problem. You see me loosening the clutch wheel. This machine was not dropped. But the one problem is, every once in a while, the whole clutch assembly slips. Like when I'm winding a bobbin, all of a sudden the needle will kick in out of the blue. And I think it might be the clutch washer. Let me put the camera down for a second. Okay, that was very tight, so I had to loosen it. Now, I know the clutch washer is in the correct position, and it's just sitting on the end of the shaft. And I'm just doing this carefully so it doesn't fall off of there. And I'm wondering if the clutch washer is damaged, would it jiggle around just enough to maybe throw things off as I'm sewing? So there's a picture of that. Now the machine basically sews fine. The tension was off a little bit when it got here, but I got that adjusted and fixed. But there's another issue with the needle bar that I'm not sure if it is an issue or not. Let me just get this back on. And as I put this back on, the washer doesn't really move at all. So it doesn't look like there's a problem, but all of a sudden the needle kicks in when you're in the middle of a bobbin. Now here's the other 237, and here's the needle tightening screw. There is no play at all in the needle bar, but when you come over to the one I'm working on, now I've adjusted the tension and the bobbin case, so all of that is fine. The needle doesn't skip, but it was a little loud, and twice the needle has just fallen out of the thing, and I thought I had it tight enough. But look at this. Now I took the top and the faceplate off, and it doesn't look like there are any loose connections. Anything that looked like a screw that could be tightened, I tightened. But none of them were loose. And this just kind of shifts up and down in the, I guess, collar that holds it in place. And I can plug the machine in and show you how it sews. Before yesterday, it was clunking when it started to seam, and then it wouldn't clunk. But because I have it on a table without a case, I thought the noise was actually just from being on a table like that. But let me plug it in and sew something, and you can tell me if you think it's a needle bar problem, if anybody can help. For some reason the view gets very dark when I'm in the front of this machine. Okay, so here's 2 layers of a cross stitch fabric, which is a little thicker than muslin. Center needle, I'll put it on straight stitch, and I've got it on 8. I've got it threaded, and I've been sewing with all the different machines with this fabric, so it should be fine. I have to just tighten up that clutch wheel screw. Sorry. Now here it is in zigzag. And it's not clunking the way it was yesterday, but I didn't really tighten anything. And I'm wondering if the clutch washer is slightly dented or something, and it does slip a little bit during sewing. Would that throw everything off? Would it make anything shift? Those are the types of things I don't know. But this is zigzag. And of course it's not doing anything wrong when I'm making this. So I'm really just curious, I guess, about the play that's in this needle bar and whether or not that's a problem, and whether or not a new clutch washer would keep it from engaging the needle in the middle of winding a bobbin. Thanks if anybody can help me. I'm going to add winding a bobbin. So I've got it started kind of. Now see how it doesn't really engage, but right now the needle is not engaging. And this is what gets a little bit frustrating. See? And the needle just engaged for no reason. And now it's not engaged. Now I'm trying to hold that piece of thread up so it doesn't get all wrapped around things, but so the bobbin's not sitting down. Now it's sitting down. I'm gonna, if I loosen this again or fiddle with it, the needle is now not engaged, but the bobbin popped up. Now I can get a new bobbin winder, but I don't think the tire in there is bad. I've already looked at the tire. The bobbin itself seems to pop up. Let me get it a little tighter. Okay, I trimmed that top thread off. I tightened the clutch wheel and then loosened it again. And the needle engages and not the bobbin winder. So now I'll do that again. I'm tightening the clutch wheel and loosening it again. Now I know that inside this tire is hitting the hand wheel. I know it is. I looked at all of this yesterday. And that's the needle engaging. So if anybody has any clues as to what I have to check here to get the bobbin winder to just engage and the needle not to engage, I would appreciate it. As soon as the bobbin winder, as soon as the bobbin pops up a little bit, the needle engages. So right now the bobbin is not sitting on that pin the way it's supposed to. And now it is. And the hand wheel is turning and no bobbin action. So now push it over. And that thread came loose or it would be winding, but I just had to fiddle with that for what, 5 or 6 minutes to get it to work right, to wind a bobbin. So again, any help is appreciated. And I do have one more issue on this machine. This light switch broke in some way. There's still a little plastic arm around the collar here, and I can't tell that anything is broken in the hole, but it just doesn't engage. So when you plug the machine in, the light stays on. So I don't know if it just doesn't fit in there right now, if it got popped off or if it got broken.